Let's talk about that interview. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and of course, Oprah Winfrey. Mental health came up, and that might be a reason why Piers Morgan has been in hot water. The princess spoke, or I should say the Duchess, of course, what is she now these days? A former royal. But Meghan Markle spoke about actually being quite suicidal at one point. First of all, your reaction to that, those comments?
You know what, Mark? As you know, I think Meghan Markle would struggle to find an ally more passionate about defeating the stigma around mental health issues, and in the belief that actually social media is very much awash with some of the worst venom and vitriol that an individual would probably never ever say to you, to your face, without that sort of protection of distance or a screen and a keyboard, no doubt in their mother's basement. But Mark, I don't think that airing your dirty laundry or announcing the sex of your child and making your life difficult, because I guess she was sort of saying that her life is incredibly hard because she didn't know the national anthem. I mean, I struggle to believe, Mark, that there are issues and problems out there during this lockdown, where people are being propelled into some of the worst financial and mental misery, that actually one of the worst things that's happened to you over recent years is having to Google the lyrics to God Save the Queen. I just thought this was all cartoon, and saying it's a struggle actually to have to rely on Princess Diana's fortune or Netflix or Spotify deals, and from a couple that said they'd left the royal household to pursue a more private life. I'm not sure how that's remotely compatible, Mark, with a 2-hour sit-down interview with the biggest chat show host in the world. I thought the entire thing was absolutely cartoon, and Mark, frankly, I think it made a mockery out of those with actual problems, and there are many out there today with actual problems. And I just didn't believe her when this. Am I going to be cancelled now?
Never. Not on my watch, Darren.
I didn't believe that Buckingham Palace wouldn't have bent over backwards to prevent there being another Princess Diana incident. Nothing at all would have stopped her from seeking professional help. And I urge everyone actually who's struggling at the moment to try and reach out, although the NHS has 6-month waiting lists at the moment, thanks to the lockdown strategy. But I think, look at the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Through their Heads Together initiative, they've been beating the drum for mental health and defeating that stigma around it. So I really just struggle to sort of see the royal family as being this institution that isn't keeping up with the times and trying to defeat that stigma. Prince William is very acutely aware of the issues that his mother dealt with, and in seeking to banish people from suffering such illnesses themselves.
Were you not shocked, though, at her anecdote about how at one point she was so suicidal that she didn't want Harry to go to an event by himself because she couldn't be alone? I mean, that was an extraordinary thing to say.
It is, and I, if I guess you've got to have a support network around you, and if she was genuinely that isolated and I guess cast out, then I'd be really, really quite surprised, because many royal commentators have been saying throughout today that the palace bent over backwards to try and make the Duke and Duchess feel comfortable. Frogmore Cottage, she was guest editing Vogue magazine, and she even gave the sort of teenage tantrum Greta Thunberg a platform, who of course champions some pretty radical left-wing policies. I just don't, all of these things where she had quite a busy diary and all the rest of it, I find it hard to believe that she was sort of isolated, hiding behind Frogmore Cottage sofa, struggling to sort of keep herself together. I mean, ultimately, right, it goes back to what I said at the start, where I think it was a pretty shocking way to conduct yourself when there are people who are, millions of them, losing their pay packets. And I think at a time when so many are struggling by being, again, propelled into that worst financial and mental misery. I'm sorry, Mark, but I'm just struggling to find my inner Mother Teresa at this point.
Listen, you are entitled to your views. This isn't ITV. This isn't GMB, Darren. You keep it coming thick and fast, because it's the home of free speech, and long may it continue. And you are a great proponent of free speech yourself, Darren. Let's do it again in a week's time. Darren Grimes, director of the popular conservative channel Reasoned UK.